you 20, you shooting and you are in the chair. But didn't want to say it like this.
Because I was a hard-headed young man like you.
Because you didn't following a religion, didn't following a God.
I followed my hard head like you.
Nobody shouldn't give me a...
Whoa, that is some heavy stuff being thrown around there. And while Brian might deserve that kind of reaction from Ingrid, I'm not sure what he's done to Adnan to receive that. Or, for that matter, what Vanya has done to deserve being mocked and disrespected.
Wow.
Or Niles. What's Niles done to Adnan to deserve pushing him to his limit?
Adnan.
What?
I will break your face. Oof.
Niles, calm down.
I never thought I'd see the day where I'd be scared of Niles, but here we are. Now, before we get to what sent him over the edge, let's rewind to the start. So, we left Tigerlily and Adnan in a bad place. Tigerlily had real concerns about her financial security after her husband gave his brother power of attorney. But despite Adnan's threats to his pregnant wife, threats that he wouldn't show up to his visa meeting if she didn't drop the matter, when we join them today for the tell-all, they rock up to the studio looking shiny and problem-free. It's as if they're attending the red carpet for New York Fashion Week or something.
I love to living here in US, in Texas, and I'm with my wife. Going to fishing, going to drive the cars, do everything.
Fishing, driving, living the American dream. Yeah, something tells me he's not job hunting. It must be real nice having a sugar mama that he can just live off. But on that topic of finances, it turns out those threats by Adnan were just that. They were simply threats. He's now in the States, living his best life. But both he and his wife know full well that today isn't gonna be easy. They're coming into this tell-all fully expecting to be judged by the other cast.
I don't know if they gonna be jealous or negative or something, but I will respect anyone would respect me. But anyone didn't want to respect me, will see same.
Adnan's definition of that word is very open-ended. It could mean anything. It could range from actual disrespect to someone merely having a difference of opinion to him. And if I had to pick someone that I think definitely will have a difference of opinion to him, I think my money would be on courageously independent Vanya.
I have a thing for men telling women what to do, how to behave, how to dress. It just seems very demeaning, very, I'm the man, I'm the boss, and you're gonna do as I say.
Yeah, I've got a feeling these two are definitely gonna butt heads today. But as the tell-all kicks off, everything starts on a happy note. You see, Adnan's visa, him physically being in the States, isn't the only happy news that the couple have. You see, they proudly announce the birth of their beautiful baby boy who was born 6 weeks ago.
Oh, Bobby!
So cute.
Bobby and Daddy.
Very sweet, very sweet.
I love you, Bobby!
Adnan is over the moon at being a dad. And hopefully, if he carries on with this energy, if he brings this energy into helping Tigerlily to raise his son, then maybe there's a chance their home life won't be as horrendous as they've made it seem. Now, as the tell-all gets underway, both of them stay very quiet during Lauren's segment. I don't think they want much to do with him. In fact, it was interesting how Adnan refused to shake Lauren's hand backstage for fear of catching a disease. But during Vanya's segment, Adnan becomes quite animated. In fact, he repeatedly jumps to her defense.
She's a woman, like a nice one. Why you not having feelings to her, to cuddle her, or kiss her, or to be nice with her? I don't know.
Insane.
What is the reason?
Insane.
What is the reason?
Now, I think this is significant, right? Adnan is here going over the top, vehemently defending Vanya. And I think when he later, which we'll get to, when he later doesn't get that same energy back from her, I think that really offends him. Still, for as light-hearted as he's being now, while the spotlight is on someone else, his entire demeanour, everything changes the minute the spotlight shines on him and his wife. So how is everything with you two, Sean asks. The last we saw you were having some problems with the whole power of attorney thing. How did that turn out?
Adnan took back the power of attorney.
He did.
Yeah, so Thayer does not have power of attorney anymore, so that's good.
Adnan just rolls his eyes, and it's pretty clear his whole vibe, his whole demeanour here is one of a man who, yes, has conceded, but really doesn't think he should have. I'm obliging my wife, but I'm the better man for doing so, is basically the energy that he's putting out here. And he goes on to explain that it really would have been beneficial for his brother, his manager, to have the ability to manage his finances back home. Why? Well, because he has business interests, he says. Now, what those interests are unclear. I think maybe he's referring to his modelling contracts. But as Tigerlily points out, Adnan's brother's power of attorney wasn't just limited to that. The scope of the powers were very broad.
If it was limited to business only,
It
then
was
I
not
can see. But if it was
Yes, if he
you
can
full-
It
do
was
everything.
everything. He
Yeah,
could act
that's
as
the problem.
him.
That's not okay.
They're fighting over a misstep, right, that could have cost Tigerlily a fortune, and yet here they are holding hands. Tigerlily has this big smile on her face. Like, I can't tell if I'm the one being gaslit here. Are they really trying to make us think that this is a healthy marriage? Now, when Sean brings up the fact that it was insane to get married the very first day that they met one another, we get a bit more clarity, as if we needed it, that Tigerlily really does have a few screws loose.
You didn't feel it was necessary to find out what this man was like in person for a while before you got married.
Yeah, I didn't need to.
Now, it's at this very moment, the moment where Vanya questions whether or not these two should have waited longer before having a child, that Adnan completely changes. He goes from the guy who was laughingly telling off Bozo for not being attracted to Vanya, to now all of a sudden being incredibly disrespectful towards her. He starts cutting her off and snapping at her for merely having an opinion, an opinion that we all share.
Time alone without having a new baby, so that you can dedicate more time to each other at the beginning. Or can I finish my sentence?
Why?
Now, it doesn't end there, right? Adnan's behaviour actually gets worse. You see, when they replay the clip of when Adnan called Tigerlily small-minded, Vanya reacts to that, and as she begins talking, Adnan starts outright mocking her.
And he's demeaning her. Look, he's like bobbling his head right now. That's unnecessary. I think this is
the worst relationship I've seen in all my life.
no.
It feels like a deflection tactic. He's desperately trying to take attention away from the clip being played and trying to belittle it and mock anyone who dares to speak up about it. And on that topic of speaking up about it, look how Tigerlily is reacting. She's just watched the clip of her husband calling her small-minded. She's just seen her husband mocking another female castmate, and yet all she does is sit there completely silent. She just lets him get away with it.
Baby, your mind is so small.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, what a dick.
Now, it's left to the rest of the cast to begin questioning Adnan. They begin to highlight all the controlling characteristics that he displays. And let's not forget, these are things that Tigerlily herself has previously expressed concern about. But, again, now, with her husband by her side, almost as if she's been briefed beforehand not to say a word, suddenly she's absolutely mute. She doesn't say a word, and it's got the rest of the cast wondering what's going on.
She's been beaten down, so she's accepting where she is now. It just looks like he's dismissing her emotions and the things that she's going through, because this is obviously a very big change for her.
Now, Adnan's retort to this is that they're happy because they find a compromise. And to be fair to him, in his defence, which isn't something I do often, but in his defence, this is something that we've seen. Like, we've seen it with the swimwear incident. When Tigerlily wasn't happy with her swimming costume, Adnan eventually also adjusted his. When Tigerlily wasn't happy with the fact that she could no longer shake or hug male friends, Adnan also eventually adjusted his behaviour.
Do you have him cover up more?
He does. He changed everything by himself. He doesn't see female doctors. He doesn't you know, shake hands with girls.
Likewise with the power of attorney. Like, you can't say that Adnan doesn't compromise. He often does. I'm definitely not Adnan's biggest fan, but he does compromise a lot more than, say, Mahmoud ever did. But by all metrics, like, he is definitely still controlling. And the rest of the cast aren't prepared to just drop that topic.
You have to be like a man, controlling.
What does a man mean, being a man? That means that you have to put your woman in her place? Is that what that means?
No.
You tell her what to do and how to be?
Now, once again, I think Tigerlily's silence here speaks volumes. There's two ways to potentially interpret this, right? Interpretation number one, right? Maybe it's really not that deep. Maybe she looks like there's not much going on in her brain, because that's exactly what's happening, not much. Or, interpretation number two, the interpretation that the rest of the cast all have, is that maybe Tigerlily agrees with Vanya. Maybe she hasn't contradicted what she's saying, maybe she hasn't leapt to her husband's defence, because she agrees with what's being said. She agrees, but she's been told not to speak up against him. Is that what's going on, they ask? Does Adnan have Tigerlily on a very short leash?
Adnan, it's killing you to let Tigerlily talk, isn't it? It's killing you to let her speak for herself.
Now, this opinion about him, the way that others view him, is clearly beginning to grate on Adnan. He's getting visibly offended at the fact that everyone seems to think he's controlling what his wife can or can't say. And in fact, that's something we'll come back to shortly because it becomes very important in a second. But it's at this point, right, that they show a previously unaired scene. A scene that actually paints things in a different light. You see, Adnan's mum, while having a heart-to-heart with Tigerlily, makes it crystal clear that she expects Adnan to respect women. She's not brought him up, nor does she expect him to follow oppressive rules.
ما في قوانين لأني أنا وعدنان أو أنا أي حدا من أولادي ما بسمح لهم إنهم يضطهدوا زوجاتهم.
Go Adnan's mum! Well done! This is lovely to hear. It's good to get an insight into his upbringing. But, and it is a big but, it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to actually practice it. While Adnan's rules clearly haven't come from his mum, that's not to say that he and his brother don't have rules. We've seen, for example, the way that both Adnan and his brother have a lot of opinions on how Tigerlily acts or dresses. So their mum's reach only goes so far, it seems. Now, the thing is, watching this clip back, Adnan tries to clarify that there's an error in the translation. The subtitles shown don't reflect what my mum actually said, he says. But as he sits there disputing the meaning of a word and not taking responsibility for his actions, Niles begins getting more and more triggered by Adnan.
That's ittihad.
Okay,
What's
so everybody else is wrong, but not you. Everyone else is wrong, but not you.
in Arabic, you understand Arabic?
Adnan is picking fights with absolutely everyone on the cast today, and Niles is more than happy to rise to the challenge. I think Niles is really in his villain era, because from the get-go in this episode, right, he's been on one.
Today, we're gonna be seeing some couples that I told you my opinion about them already. Brian.
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Lauren.
That's right.
Tigerlily.
No! I was tapping on my leg for a minute. I was tapping on the
Lauren,
table.
I think you know
exactly how that looks.
When Sean asks a question to everyone, when she asks if they think Adnan sees Tigerlily as his equal, all Niles can do is laugh at how absurd that prospect is.
Who here thinks that Adnan considers Tigerlily his equal? No one?
Even Joe, who up until this point has remained really passive and hasn't really said much, points out that in his opinion, he thinks Tigerlily has been overthinking every word that she says so as not to say something wrong, so as not to piss Adnan off. Now, at this point, Adnan becomes completely sick and tired of this narrative. You all think that I'm controlling what my wife says. So how about this, he says. How about I just leave? I'll walk off and you can question her, he says. And with that, he gets up and storms off. But not without first issuing another threat.
Be careful. If anybody say any he will be in trouble with me. Okay, say answer to them.
So there's control right there.
Because you're thinking she's scared from me.
So with Adnan now gone, the floor is Tigerlily's, and the rest of the cast try to get her to admit that he's controlling. But there's a big problem. You see, while they might all have the opinion that they're now saving her, the truth is, Tigerlily doesn't want to be saved. She's entirely compliant, complicit, and comfortable with what's going on.
Your outfit's beautiful, but you're like a hair away from a burqa.
You guys know I just had a baby.
Right, so
I'm not like 100% comfortable with myself.
Of all the possible things to talk about, all the issues that he could raise, trust creepy Brian to make a comment about what she's wearing. Yeah, 6 weeks after birth, but he expects her to be in a tight dress or something. That's the level of tact that we can expect from this guy. Now, on that topic, Tigerlily does actually clarify. She says, if I wanted to, I could wear a tight dress. I have worn tight dresses in the past, and Adnan has been fine with that, she claims. And hearing that, realising that Tigerlily is only doing what she wants to do, the rest of the cast have nothing more to say. So it's at that point, they all take a short break from filming, and waiting behind the scenes, desperately eager to hear what's been said, is, of course, Adnan.
Hi, my life. Hi, my love. Hi, my sweetie. Hi, my angel. Hi, my princess. Hi, my queen. What do you say to them? What do you tell them?
Hi, my love. Hi, my love. Hi, my sweetie. Hi, my angel. Hi, my princess. Hi, my queen. See, it seems a little over the top, doesn't it? Is he nervous about what she said? Is he love bombing her? Is he trying to go over the top with his expression of affection, just in case any of the cast have damaged her with their negative opinions of him? Now, to his relief, Tigerlily assures him that nothing bad has been said about him. But as she goes off to get her hair touched up, Adnan makes his way over to where the rest of the cast are, and he's determined to know, what is your problem with me? Why do you have an issue with me and my marriage? And when Brian takes the bait, when he says to him, you're very stubborn, perhaps that's because of your age, Adnan absolutely loses his shit. Who the hell do you think you are to judge me? He asks.
You're 20, you're shooting, and you are in a chair. But didn't want to say like this.
Because I was a hard-headed young man like you.
Because you didn't following a religion, didn't following a God.
I followed my hard head like you.
Life. Nobody shouldn't give me a...
Now, for as much as Adnan has a point in so much as Brian definitely isn't holier than thou, he, of all people, shouldn't be judging anyone. At the same time, the way that he delivers that message is brutal. It's completely out of line. Who does he think he is? Why does he feel the need to link this back to religion and somehow claim Brian is in a wheelchair because God is punishing him? That just isn't okay. He has no right to be saying those sorts of things either. It's ironic, right? In trying to dispute how stubborn and hard-headed he is, Adnan just proves that he is stubborn and hard-headed.
I'm not listening. I know my life. How is it? Bull getting out from your mouth. All of you. Goodbye. Nice to meet you.
Taking it personal, bro, and you shouldn't.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't have a time. Thank you so much.
Now, we were warned about Adnan's anger issues. The fact that he got himself hospitalised because he worked himself into such a fit of frenzy and anger. But up until now, that side of his personality has been kept firmly under wraps. Only now it's starting to come out in full force. And in fact, speaking of coming out, when the rest of the cast go back on stage to restart the show, Adnan's that wound up, is that annoyed that both he and his wife don't go back out. In fact, instead he begins venting. He vents to Tigerlily about how no one's tried to understand their relationship. I was holding back before, he says, but no more. I'm gonna let them have it. And it's at that point that, scarily, he goes on to talk about killing people.
I don't want to do something problem. I don't want to kill anybody today, okay?
Who cares what they think? It doesn't bother me. It shouldn't bother you.
Even though Tigerlily is 100% right on this occasion, Adnan feels disrespected. And we all know how importantly he takes that topic of respect. So as he and Tigerlily saunter back on stage at their own pace, Sean asks to know from his perspective what actually happened backstage.
I didn't want to take his advice because his advice is not to care about his family. He going, hang out, take drugs, drinking, coming back to house, drinking, going to cheating with his wife.
Yeah, when Adnan said he wasn't going to hold back anymore, he clearly meant it. Now, Adnan has resorted to a personal attack. He's attacking Brian's character to almost detract from his point. Brian was telling him to stop being so stubborn and hard-headed, both valid points, but somehow Adnan has spun this to make it seem like Brian was telling him to go out drinking, doing drugs and cheating on his wife. Like, that was never the case. He's completely misrepresenting what happened. And hearing this, Niles wants to have his say. But when he raises his voice to try and get Adnan's attention, he unwittingly then becomes Adnan's next target. You see, Adnan now shifts his focus away from Brian and onto Niles and Matilda. Hey, Matilda, says Adnan. Niles has been having a go at me for being controlling, but tell me, does Niles ever get jealous if you don't dress modestly?
Let Matilda answer.
You will feel jealous.
Matt, no, I wouldn't. I've never felt jealous of that.
Have jealousy?
Niles was so confident Matilda was going to say he wasn't jealous that hearing otherwise has really caught him off guard. He feels undermined and embarrassed by Adnan. But Adnan isn't done yet. He has one last final jab to make. A comment about Niles and Matilda's relationship. And it's safe to say that Niles does not take this well at all. His reaction is wild.
We have Sugar Daddy and Matilda. What we have?
Wow.
Adnan,
What?
I will break your face.
That from Niles is completely unacceptable. Everyone's shocked. Like, that didn't just cross the line, that ran a mile over it. Yes, Adnan was being a dick. Yes, he was getting under Niles' skin, but there is never an excuse to resort to violence. And it makes you question, right? For all that narrative at the start of the season about how it's Matilda with the anger issues, clearly it's Niles with the short fuse. Now, unfortunately, the episode ends there. But judging by the teaser content for what's to come in the next episode, yeah, it's safe to say this drama is just getting started.